west to the lake.
Okay, good evening, everyone. This has been an interesting day. I just got in. I had this grandiose plan where I was going to work on my speech and fine tune and all that stuff, but I just got in. I've got my rough notes, but they're not that rough. But I'm going to give a good presentation. I just hope that I won't be blasted in oblivion by a thunderstorm, but this should be an interesting meeting. To begin with, well, begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have with us our newest member, Distinguished Toastmaster, DTM, Kevin Pohl, is our current Club Growth Director for District 77. Kevin, will you be giving a presentation this evening? Well, if not, maybe we'll Kevin, are you going to give a presentation this evening?
He's going to say a few words for us at the end of the.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to be anything formal.
I did have a speech prepared. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You say you do have a speech prepared, Kevin?
I do. I think Wes, if you need it.
Sure. We'd love to hear from you, but we'll say the best for last. So I'll go first, and I'll lead off, and then have Kevin come on board. Title of my presentation is I'm just reflecting on my path. It's been an interesting year. Oh, but I'm not sure what now in other meetings with it's set up where the Toastmaster chooses a theme. Doesn't matter who chooses a theme, but what is the theme for this meeting? I saw it on the agenda, but Maurice, what is the theme?
A new season.
A new season.
And the word of the day is culmination.
Culmination. I do hope I can get this. I do hope I can get this through this without losing power. This is a 10 to 12 minute speech on reflecting on my path as your coach.
You said it was 10 to 12 minutes, Wes?
Yes, ma'am.
Gotcha.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, this is a reflection on my journey through my effective coaching path. There are lessons that I've learned and how that journey can be a springboard to yet another journey. Two major areas I developed skill in is effectively helping a club to work on a distinguished plan and to meet its distinguished plan goals. Working with club leadership to help members to develop a sense of esprit de corps and camaraderie, and working with a sense of mutual support and communication and leadership skills. For the most part, this journey has been successful in both areas. Club leadership that I have met over the past several months during club executive meetings to discuss ways to reach out to the public and to let it be known that Toastmasters, what Hilltoppers has to offer. Although we embrace the viewpoint of our founder, Dr. Ralph Smedley, that learning is done best in times of enjoyment, we are nevertheless serious in helping to help each other develop skill in public speaking and leadership. The main goal of the club coach is to help the club achieve distinguished club status. Achieving that goal is important in that it builds club morale. In order to do that effectively, All members need to contribute in that effort. As a member contributes, that members develop skill in communication and leadership. In pursuing as a Toastmaster pursues a path, that path can be leadership development, presentation mastery, visionary communication, or many others. Even participation in participating club meeting roles develops communication and leadership, and that there are elements of commitment, time management, vocal projection, and task execution and completion. Part of my coaching experience included calling upon the services of a high-performance leadership guidance committee, comprised of the club officers and led by a president and vice president of education, to explore ways that we could help bring our club to distinguished club status. The committee and I have met 5 times, and we discussed several areas. Hilltoppers has achieved distinction before through the years as a distinguished club, and it certainly can do it again. One significant benefit we've had over the past several months was the discovery of hybrid meetings. Olivia was primarily instrumental in securing that location for us, and Maurice helped with the meeting with his engineering skill. And David, as another engineer, could certainly help in that area as well, in the meetings to come in our hybrid location. At this point, our club is doing quite well. I'm proud to say that we are a club in good standing with Toastmasters International. We've had a variety of guest speakers to give a rich flavor to our meetings, and our meetings are educational and yet fun. This has been a very interesting year. I mean, I've tried, but talking about guidance, I've learned about from my own dad's teaching. There's an old saying that too much focus on what's external or objective nips in the bud the potent factors for the evolution of that. It is my hope, it still is my hope, I'm an optimist, that we meet the qualifications for distinguished club status. But sometimes there are things that it's not entirely in your control. I remember on one occasion, my father, he had a particular situation that was entirely out of his control. I mean, he was the kind of person that liked to take charge and see things through to completion. But this one particular situation was completely out of his control. There was absolutely nothing he could do. All I could do is sit down by a tree and smoke a cigarette. And then he said a strange thing happened. Little by little, he said, things fall into place. And he said that he was a very spiritual man. He said that the things were just kind of falling in place, and things fell into a certain order. When he was growing up, his favorite poem was the poem Invictus, which ends, "I'm the master of my fate and the captain of my soul." In that particular situation, he wasn't the captain of a little red wagon, but he learned that there are other forces in control. He accepted the fact that due to his spiritual upbringing, that he was able to look at that situation in a perspective. It is so my role, as I say, I will work with this club to the last minute of the last hour of the last day to do my job. But to our credit, what we have accomplished, we are a club in good standing with Toastmasters International, and we have achieved a certain credibility within the area. Also, I have through this journey, I have developed certain skills and different leadership styles, different communication styles. I've discovered the leadership and communication styles can vary with different situations. I've learned about doing research, managing time, planning and implementing events and projects. And all of these have made me more aware of resources that can be used for future projects. I've developed skill in telling stories and connecting with and inspiring audiences. And this is very important to me in a future role that I'm looking forward to embarking on. It is my hope to become an author. So I've been given training not only in effective coaching, but also in a position to recognize the coaching ability of others. It was the stories and the guidance of others that I've related to that brought to life. I've seen how different styles in others, and how the guidance of others was implemented in my own life, my own styles. I hope to, as an author, I hope to bring out certain aspects of my family. How my dad's experience provided guidance and inspiration in my development as a Toastmaster. So I've done my best in conclusion, I've done my best and will continue to do my best as your coach. The speech, I would hope to have been a bit more prepared. I'm not making excuses. It's just that this was a very interesting day. I've had 2 doctor's appointments an hour away from me, a few hours apart. Have not been able to spend the time that I hope to spend on getting this final speech together. But I've done, the point is, in the conclusion, I've done my best as your coach. I will continue to do my best. We are a good club. We're a fun club. We've made some great progress as a club. We still have the opportunity to become a distinguished club, and I will work with you toward that end right to the last day. To Toastmasters, honored guests. So, okay, do we have a second presentation?
Kevin, you said that you were going to do a speech, a prepared speech?
Yeah. I'm ready. Y'all need a second one? Y'all need some more motivation?
No, if you just
Sure.
want to, we would love to hear a speech if you have one. Will you be needing an evaluator?
Does anybody need to practice?
Not necessarily, but if you want me to do your evaluation, I can just give you a little brief one.
I want someone who's really bad at evaluating to evaluate my speech. I want to give
Well,
someone some practice.
doing the evaluation. Well, we
Yeah.
have two guests tonight, which is Caleb and Bethany, but the rest of us, so they have never done one before, but the rest of us are pretty darn good at it.
Maybe one of them might want to evaluate my speech. What do you think?
Sure, it's up to them. I think it'll be healthy.
Yeah, we can do it.
All right, okay. Do you have an official evaluation form, or would you just like for her to give you a pretty informal one?
I don't have
Yeah.
the official evaluation form, but I can just do
Yeah,
something informal.
We could just
That helps.
be how you say, informal.
Okay,
Okay.
and Bethany, Josh will go first because he will be evaluating Wesley's speech. So you can kind of use some of that same format that you will hear Josh use, and you can just do that same thing to evaluate Kevin's speech. I think it'll be very healthy. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
right.
that's one of the pluses that come with DTM.
Sounds good to me. Okay,
Yeah.
Wes.
So I would like to introduce to you once again, Kevin Poe is a DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. Here in his DTM 2 years ago, he is a past club quality chair. I was honored to assume his position. He is the current club District 77 Club Growth Director. He has a great deal of experience in Toastmasters and throughout other areas of life as well. He also is a baseball coach. So I'd like to simply introduce you, our second speaker, DTM Kevin Poe.
Thank you, Wes, for that awesome introduction. You know, I when you were speaking, I wish I could have a projector where every time I come into the house, I hear that. I'm gonna work on that. Maybe I could get some device that does that for me. I want to start off this evening with saying, how many of you have ever heard of the Great Tide Cave Rescue? If you have, maybe you could use the reaction button and raise your hand if you've ever heard of it. It happened. Oh, look, we had our guest has heard of it. Great. No one else. It happened. It happened about June of 2018. And a bunch of kids got stuck in the cave. And it took about 18 months before they were rescued. And I want to talk to you today about the awesome the coach that was also stuck in the cave with them. I want to talk to you about this topic called emotional intelligence. Right. So what I want you all to do. I was going to say I wanted you all to close your eyes, but I want you to do this. I want you all to turn off your cameras just for a moment and close your eyes. Let's see if everybody has this. Cool. Imagine getting stuck in a dark cave with a bunch of young kids, and they're starting at a continuous rising flood of water starts to surround you. You have limited supply of food. You have limited oxygen to breathe. And at this point, thoughts of death are going through your head. You're thinking to yourself, how are we going to survive? What would you do? Okay, open up your cameras if you like. So here's a scenario. Here's where it gets pretty interesting. Now, there was a coach at the time. His name was Ek. EKK is how you spell it. That coach, he was 25 years old at the time, and man, he displayed such tremendous emotional intelligence. By a show of hands, how many of you know what emotional intelligence is? Yeah, that's cool. You could use a reaction You can just raise your hand. You know, emotional intelligence is the capacity to recognize your feelings, have a connection with your emotions, right? Recognize other people's feelings, maybe through body language or just viewing their gestures. You know, you have this emotional intelligence. It's control of your mind. It's control that you have of over your emotions, right? Not getting too angry, not getting too sad, having complete command, right? You're managing. You're able to manage your social interactions. You know how when somebody gets frustrated, you know how to calm them down, or maybe not to get someone frustrated. You have that great ability. And you also have the ability not only to motivate yourself, but you have this great ability to motivate others, right? So that kind of sums up what emotional intelligence is, right? So this coach Eck, he had this tremendous ability for emotional intelligence in this cave. He demonstrated it was phenomenal, right? And so I'm gonna share with you just a few examples of what emotional intelligence doesn't look like, right? So could you imagine if you were in this cage and you were the coach and you started shouting at the kids and you said, "It's all because of you. It's all because of you guys. Now we're stuck in this cave. You wanted to celebrate your birthday, and now we're stuck in this cave. Now we're all in big trouble." How do you feel, right? Or if I was just to shout out, we're all gonna die. Water's coming around. We're all gonna die. Hold your breath. How would you feel? How would that be, right? Would you be able to be calm? Would you get nervous? I remember one time I was on a plane and the plane got struck with lightning twice, not once, but twice. And I could hear everybody around me was screaming and they were holding on to the chairs. It was such a traumatic experience. And then over the intercom, the pilot says, I'm sorry, everyone. I'm sorry, everyone, that you felt that the lightning, but the plane is designed to take on lightning strikes. And wow, we just kept on cruising through the air, no problem. It was amazing, right? So through those examples, Coach Elk, he provided the perfect type of emotional intelligence for that group, and they survived. At the end of the story, they survived. It was just miraculous. A wonderful diver. There were some loss of life by some very experienced divers, if you know the story. But one special diver did save all of the kids and the coach. It was just a miraculous event. And what I want to say, you all are here, right? As Wes talked about, you have a wonderful opportunity, this thing called, Toastmasters, teaching us specific skill sets. We all have this opportunity. And when we have this opportunity to not only practice communication, but we have this opportunity to practice delivering a speech. And what is the speech? The speech is it just saying something, right? I think early on when I first became a Toastmaster, I figured out at a certain point that I'm in control. I'm in control of my words. I'm in control of my emotions. I'm in control of how I want to make somebody else feel. I can make them feel happy with what I say. I can make them feel sad with my body language, right? I'm in control. So we practice that. We practice that. We practice that skill right here. It's so wonderful. In conclusion, I just want to say that 80% of what you do in life is about emotional intelligence. Only 20% is about IQ intelligence. What you do on the job or how well you code something is small. So spend your time taking advantage of this opportunity you have. Give more speeches, practice more emotional intelligence. I'll return my control back to the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you, Kevin. This would normally be the time for table topics. Do we have a, well, first of all, yes. Oh, Maurice,
Mhm.
Mr. Table Topics Master,
Yes,
would you like to begin your table topics, sir?
yes. Thank you, Wes. Any volunteers? And we'll go to about 7:30 to 7:32, and then we'll move on to the next portion. Okay, any volunteers? Okay, I see Josh's hand. Josh. What sustains you on a daily basis? What sustains you on a daily basis?
The hope that I do the right thing every single day. Not necessarily what I want to do, not necessarily what someone else wants me to do, but the right thing. Back to you,
Thank
table topic.
you. Thank you. Okay, next volunteer. Okay, Wes. Okay, Wes. And remember, the word of the day is culmination, and the theme is a new season. Okay, okay, Wes, my question to you is, would you rather have less work or more work you actually enjoy doing? Would you rather have less work or more work you actually enjoy doing?
Mr. Topics Master, I think I'd rather have more work than I enjoy doing. I'm looking, as I mentioned earlier, I'd like to begin. I've got some ideas for being an author. My dad, I started my dad's experiences in the Army, but I want to expand that as a culmination of many events, how those experiences affected the family. But also, I have an idea for a short story. But I'm about to. I'm going to be out of the pocket. I'm going to be out of the. I'm going to be out of the Toastmasters picture for a little bit because I'm going to spend some time on vacation and spend some time writing. Now, I will not be able to attend the July meeting, but I will be looking the open house. But I will be looking forward to attending the August open house. But I think I'd rather have. You have to have something. You need to have something to continue on. You have to have something to allow something to do some purpose for life. So from my perspective, I think I'd rather have more of what I enjoy doing. This Topics Master.
All right, thank you, Wes. And I believe Bethany had raised her hand as well. So we'll move to Bethany. And your question is, what motivates you to be your best? What motivates you to be your best?
Okay, so my question is what motivates me to do my best? And whenever I think of doing my best, I think about it in the case of being a future healthcare provider. So I'm currently in medical school. I am a second-year medical student, and I am currently working at the Mitchell Cancer Institute. And when I think of doing my best, I think about putting the needs of others first and being able to be compassionate and a caring provider in the future. Also want to be able to be aware of the needs of different populations and be accessible to different people who may be in need of my service. So that motivates me to be my best.
All right, thank you. And we'll do one or two more, maybe one more. Any volunteers? Okay, I think I see Donovan's hand. Donovan, how would you spend your ideal day? How would you spend your ideal day?
Thank you. Thank you, fellow Hilltoppers and on the guests. My question was, what would be my ideal day? My ideal day would be waking up late, around 8 o'clock, get a relaxing morning by waking up, doing your stuff, get ready for the day. Then maybe get some breakfast and watch a little TV. And then do something productive, like schoolwork, buying a book as an example that Wes mentioned. People have multiple ways of doing an ideal day. And my ideal day is basically hanging out at the house, waking up late, get some breakfast. Like sometimes I like to do something quick, like granola, or sometimes I do eggs and sausage. It just depends on how I feel that morning. And then I'll watch a little TV, and then I'll do something that's productive, something that gets my mind working without my brain be crashing down. And at some point of the day, it does crash. And that's when you want to start to do more things that will work the brain to be able to have that sort of balance between a relaxing day, but also a productive day as well. Thank you, and back to the table topics, Master.
All right, thank you, Donovan. And that will conclude table topics for this evening. And we'll go to religious's lectern back to the Toastmaster so we can go to the next phase of the meeting.
Okay, I would like to call our general evaluator. I missed the first portion of the meeting because I was getting
That's
set
me.
up. Do we have any general evaluator?
Yes, I'll be the general evaluator for this evening. And I'm also never mind. I'll just go over that as I go over my evaluation.
All right.
Okay,
Madam General Evaluator, would you like to call our first evaluator?
absolutely. Thank you, Wes, for turning over the lectern to me. And good evening, everyone. I will be your general evaluator for the evening. And I will just simply talk about the way the meeting is flowing. Just some general comments that I will give. But first, before I get into the evaluation portion, I would like to call on Josh, which is our first evaluator for our prepared speaker, which was Wes. Josh, you're up.
Thanks, Olivia. As she mentioned before, Wes Hillstrom was our speaker, our first speaker tonight, and his speech was about reflecting on his path as a coach. Wes hit on several things: developing roles in meetings. The Hilltoppers Club is in good standing. Meetings are rich in education. Gave a real life situation with his father. Had a great comfort level with the audience. In this virtual environment, it's hard to criticize anybody's gestures or eye contact. Great job of clarity and vocal range, and very well prepared as always. Like I've mentioned in a couple of other evaluations before, Wes always does a great job. So that's what I have for his evaluation tonight. And back to you, Olivia.
Thank you, Josh, very much for that. Oh, let me stop the time. Oh, shoot. Sorry. Thank you very much for that evaluation. and you can turn that form in to Wes via email whenever you get a chance. And I agree with you, Wes. We appreciate so much your speech. And now we will move on to our next speech evaluator, which is Bethany, and she is going to be giving us an evaluation of our speaker, Kevin Poe. Bethany, you're up.
Hi, so this is my first time giving an evaluation, so I'm not too sure of what needs to be said or what needs to be done officially, but as an unofficial way of doing it, I just felt like the way that the information that was presented in the talk was very cohesive. I was able to follow the message and follow the story with it. Also liked how he started out with a rhetorical question, and it really did make me think about the question myself, and really it made an impact on the way that the message was received. Also liked how you were very confident in your ability to convey your message and also be able to showcase your comfort in being able to speak.
All right, thank you very much for that, Bethany. Let me. Okay. I want to record your time. Thank you very much for your speech evaluation, Bethany, and that was very good. You did that very well. You pretty much covered all of the bases. A couple of things that we normally talk about is like, even Josh hit on gestures and eye contact. Those things are kind of hard to evaluate in the virtual world. But other than that, I think your evaluation of Kevin's speech was very good and precise. And Kevin, it was a very good speech, and it was thought-provoking. And it just reminded me of the importance of being a coach and how to be an effective coach and an effective leader, and the things that you say to your team and how what you can say can resonate, whether it be good or bad. So we thank you for that. It was a great reminder. But this evening, I am also your timer, the grammarian, and I will give my report for the word of the day, and I'm also the counter. So I had quite a few rows, so I put them all together. So for Wes, you did pauses, which is so good. We talk about all the time that pausing or those little brief moments of silence is an effective way to communicate. Not only does it give you a chance to reset yourself or to transition from one thought to the next without using those filler words, but sometimes it catches the audience attention like, wait a minute, why didn't he say something? That 1 or 2 second pause is an effective way to communicate. So we thank you for those pauses. You had no filler words, and I did not detect any misuse of the English language. What I did notice was you said can vary with different situations. And I think that is that fits that checks all the boxes. I'm used to hearing can vary within different situations. I'm not saying either right or wrong if anyone else wants to jump in on that, but I think the way you said it was okay, but I did record that. The word of the day, I did not hear it, and your time was 10 minutes and 36 seconds. If you did use the word of the day, someone did use it that I did not hear, please raise your hand and let me know. Wes, I did like your speech, reflections on effective coaching. You've talked to us about that a couple of times, but what I noticed or what I like the most is never is there any doubt of what your passions are, how your feelings are, what your thoughts are when it comes to being a coach for Hilltoppers Toastmasters, and for just giving us that extra push. We thank you for that. Kevin, your speech was entitled or was about emotional intelligence. Thank you for that speech. It was very thought-provoking as well. I think I heard one no misuse of the English language, and your time was 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Josh, your table topics. Do the right thing. It took you 18 seconds, but I'm telling you, in those 18 seconds, you gave me chills because, and that sometimes is, that's okay. That's perfect. 18 seconds. Go ahead, Josh. You wanted to say something?
You got to make it count.
You got to make it count. That's right. That's right. And that's what I was going to say. Those 18 seconds, again, they gave me chills because it was I mean, anything you could have said, but I felt the passion in do the right thing. It might not be what I want to do, but I want to do the right thing. 18 powerful seconds. Thank you very much for that. Wes, less or more enjoyable work. No misuse of the English language. No filler words. I did hear you use our word of the day, and your speech was 1 minute and 42 seconds. And I agree with you. A body in motion is the only thing that stays in motion. And if I had to choose, I would want to do more enjoyable work versus sitting around or not working at all. Bethany, to be your best. You told us before about your passions and your desires, and we need so many more people like you, and we just thank you for being just who you were designed to be. No no misuse of the English language, and your speech was 39 seconds. Donovan, your ideal day. Great. I would like to sleep late, eat a nice breakfast, watch a little TV, just take it easy. My camera, I'm sorry, my audio was kind of glitching through your speech. So if I misheard or did not hear you use the word of the day, please let me know. But there were no and no misuses of the English language, and you were 1 minute and 55 seconds. Your speech was. Josh, yours was, your evaluation was 45 seconds, and Bethany, yours was about 30 seconds. Thank you all very much. This has been my evaluation. And for the meeting, as always, it's my pleasure to be a part of Hilltoppers. At the very beginning, I think we even chuckled a little bit. We had a little laugh, and that is the best way to start a meeting off, with a little laugh, a little humor. I am excited to have you here with us again, Bethany and Caleb, and most definitely, I'm excited to have Mr. Kevin Poe with us as well. I think our meeting, we had to a 5-minute recess. That is one of the challenges that we sometimes face here at Hilltoppers. So that's definitely an opportunity for us to grow in that area. Let's have our roles picked out ahead of time, filled out on Easy Speak, and let's be ready at 6:45 to do the pledge, go over our club business, and move right into our meeting. So that's my challenge for us in the upcoming weeks, that we work on that. But other than that, our meeting this evening was wonderful, and thank you all. Back to you, Wes, our Toastmaster for the evening.
Yes, Madam General Evaluator, do we have an education overview this evening?
No, we're going to use this time for Kevin to speak to us just a few minutes, if you will.
That sounds great. Please, Kevin, you have the floor.
I get these events. Is this a paid speaking opportunity?
Sure, we will pay you a lot of attention.
I like that. Yeah, I like that. I was gonna put my PayPal in the chat, but
Well, go ahead. Hey, you
like
have
that.
not because you asked not. So go ahead,
like
drop it in there.
like
Who
that.
knows?
No, look, and I'll start with Wes. Wes is being my good friend and club growth chair this year. When I'm seeking out a person for this role, I have so much to do as my duties, and you want somebody who's trusted. And right away I looked to Wes, and what that did for me was, I mean, I don't think one time I ever had to check on Wes or ever go back. I think Monica asked me some questions about Wes, and I was like, I said, I'm not checking on Wes. I mean, Wes is a self-starter, he's self-motivated. I don't need to follow up or check. And those are the kind of qualities, that you want, right? Everybody is always seeking a person who's like that. And I just reflect over, Olivia, you gave such an awesome evaluation. And I think back to my time when I was a young Toastmaster, and sometimes you miss it. You sit in these meetings and we get kind of Zoom fatigue, or we get Toastmaster fatigue, and we forget, the skills. Like it takes a great person to listen, and then after recall those things. That's a wonderful skill. And over time you get to practice that, and we miss that. We we take it for granted, right? That happens. The other day, I was looking at some jobs, and I missed the job said you can put that you have leadership experience from a volunteer opportunity. I said, wow. Well, I'm a club growth director. I said, why not? I don't have to tell them I'm a club growth director, but that experience of leading people, I could use that. That counts, right? So none of your time is ever wasted. And so much of my time, I get to look at a different perspective for the district. This time is so different. We're at home, and we just went through a pandemic. Gas prices are high, and you think about, should I renew? Should I keep going? Right? Should I be here at 7:45? Because I have a Texas steak. I just ordered dinner from Texas Roadhouse. I have it waiting for me. I would have loved to have eaten that an hour ago, but I'm a man here. I have, I'll tell you a personal story. I have 5 degrees. Yeah, I went to school 5 times, and I serve my country. And I'm an executive, not only in this organization, but for my profession. I work for NASA in the daytime, and and those things don't come without sacrifice. Success doesn't come without sacrifice, right? But I just want to leave you with this: is that do not belittle your time here, right? Use every opportunity that you have to be better, because next month, next year, I just lost my father in April. The next day is not promised to any of us, right? And although renewing fees, renewing dues, the effort, the time you have to put in, none of it is wasted. And although you're just a small little 9 people here in this club, Toastmasters is a huge organization. I mean, if you wanted to, you could speak in South Africa tomorrow. You can speak in Japan. You could speak in South America. Wes is a member of a club in Canada. I mean, the possibilities are endless. You can surround yourself with people who are business owners, professional, lawyers, accountants, doctors. I mean, these are not only your friends, but they are mentors, and they could be mentors for life, and they can provide a huge impact. And so I just want to leave you is that this $45 that you pay is minuscule to the bounds of that you get, the benefit that you can get for a lifetime. And I hope that you all use it, and don't waste an opportunity to give a speech, to give an evaluation, to mentor someone, to partner with someone. Don't waste any time. That's my time.
Thank you, Kevin. That's